Hello, everybody. This is episode 6, season 1, episode 6 about dating and marriage. Now, I was talking about the episode 5. I was talking about how was marriage back in the days in the 40s, in the 50s, whatever. But I'm talking about in the 60s and back. And sometimes I don't know why I get diverted, I get distracted, and I go into another subject. And I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to make a point. That's all. About because there's a lot of concerns out there, a lot of people asking millions of questions, a lot of people want to find out what's up. So anyway, I mentioned that back in those days, marriage, people used to get married very young, especially girls. They used to get married very young, like my mother, like my aunt. My aunt, she passed away a long time ago. She had 20 children. And my uncle had 16. My mother had 13. I don't know about my other aunts and uncles, but I know that one uncle had 4. Another one of my aunts, I think she had maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember. That one is a mystery. I gotta double check. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that dating back in the days, dating was a sacred thing. Let me give you an example. There was this couple that I met. I met this lady. I think it was the same couple, can't remember. I met them in the outing thing, the barbecue thing. I forgot where in New York. I don't know if it was in Coombe, Queens. Anyway, this lady, she told me that when she was young and she started dating, you know how they used to date back in those days in Puerto Rico? You're talking about restrictions, man. What you going through now? What you went through? You don't want to go through it. When a future husband walked into the house to see her, look how strict they were watching their daughters from committing sexual stuff. Like you get together with you nowadays. You take your girlfriend to your room, and nowadays parents allow you young kid to go into the room with your boyfriend or boyfriend with your girlfriend, and you do your thing over there, and they let you. Oh, nice, right? Okay, yeah, keep it up. Anyway, and nowadays people date. They go to a motel. They go to a hotel. They do their thing. But in those days in Puerto Rico, I'm talking about my Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico, okay? In Puerto Rico, you couldn't get away with that. You couldn't. Unless you're going to school and you meet your boyfriend somewhere and you do something and you come back home. If they catch you, you're in big hot water. You're in big problem. You're in big agua caliente. That's what I'm talking about. And you'll be in big trouble. Forget about it, bro. They're gonna make you get married with that girl. It's not an issue where you got laid with her or she got laid with him, whatever, and they went their separate ways and they will nobody did nothing about it. But these are cases where people have gotten caught. Believe me, you get caught. In Puerto Rico, there was a lot of wooded areas. People used to hide in the woods and do the thing. Oh yeah. I could get into detail, but I don't want to. Things that they were doing. And check this out. Check it out. If they got caught, which many did got caught, they told the guy, I said, listen, you got my daughter pregnant, you're going to have to get married with my daughter. There was no buts or if about it. You love my daughter so much that you have to go and screw her behind my back. And now you want to go away? Well, you want to move to New York? Yeah. You're going to take my daughter with you. I don't care. I don't care what your father thinks. Or your mother thinks. You're going to take my daughter. You're going to take her out of here. You're going to marry her. And we're going to marry you. Whether you like it or not. And in those days, you had to get married with a girl. That's how strict this freaking thing was. So she told me, this lady was sharing, that when her boyfriend used to come over, they had to sit one on one corner of the room, and she had to sit in the other corner of the room, and the mother and the father, they had to sit in the middle to hear all the conversation. You think that was funny? I would die, man. I gotta go through that. I mean, I don't care. If I have to go through it, I'll go. I know what to do. It's simple. Just respect the woman, man. Respect the family. That's all it is. It's all respect, man. But the parents wanted to make sure that she doesn't slip out somewhere, get laid with this guy. You're not going to do it. Not under my watch. That's what the parents thought back then. You could be... You know that somebody said... Somebody told you something about you are like a snake in heat. You know, then snake they're going to make. You know how many snakes they make? It's one female and a whole bunch of freaking snakes. And she only chooses one. That's nature for you. Think of it. The female dog is different. They call her a bitch. Why they call her a bitch? Because she lays down with every dog that she could find. And you got 5 dogs going after a female dog, and they're all taking turns. That's a real bitch. The actual definition of a woman laying around with different men. That is the real definition of a bitch. That's only refers to a female dog. But what happened, that certain women, they have acquired the title that they don't care. They don't got no shame. They instead of walking around with a freaking bell over their face or bag over their face, they just walk around like nothing. Like they don't care. I lay down wherever I feel like it. And it's sad, but that's society, bro. That's society. It's sad, but that's the truth. And she couldn't do nothing. The mother or the father, they had to sit in the middle. And they both were talking to each other and saying things and whatever and have you. And sometimes when the day came to make an engagement, you know, the ring, whatever, the guy, by right, not by law, but right, he had to go to the father, like I did. I did this a long time ago. It's nothing new, but it's good. It's respect that you go to the father and you ask for a hand, and you go sit down like a man. If you got a pair this big like King Kong, you sit down with the father, you sit down with the mother, and you tell them your intentions that you want to marry this woman. But before you even get married, you got to get permission to continue dating. And then, when the day comes where you're going to put that ring in her finger and you're going to get engaged, it's not to go take her home and have sex. No. You're going to get engaged. You're still going to have to go to the father and the mother and say, listen, I love your daughter. We've been dating for so long. And I think I'm ready. I'm working. I got a job. I got money in the bank. I got a career, whatever have you. And I'm ready to assert authority. I'm ready to accept my responsibility as a husband to take your daughter with me and make her my wife so we could have our own children and blah, blah, whatever. That's the proper way. But today, it is a freaking joke. While you see how families, they don't give a crap about their daughters. They don't give a crap about their sons, especially their daughters. They allow their daughter to bring the boyfriend in the room. They allow their son to bring his girlfriend to the room, and you don't know what the hell is going on in there. That's bro, you know what is that? That's what you call the decline of society. That's called moral decay. That is wrong, man. Are you going to allow your daughter to bring a guy into the freaking room? They're going to sleep over? That's how you call that right? You call that, hey, man, just doing my daughter a favor. I don't want her to be outside on the street. Yo, she's in the street, you idiot. It says she's having sex in the house. And believe me, it happens. So what happened that in those days, in Puerto Rico, we're talking about just Puerto Rico, I don't know about any other nation, but Puerto Rico, the rules were set strictly that you got to go this way. If not, get the hell out and go somewhere else. Go and climb a tree and do your thing. But you're not going to touch my daughter. You're not going to have sex with my daughter. You're not going to touch her. You're not going to pat her. You're not going to put your finger somewhere until you get married. When you get married, do whatever comes out. Whatever comes out, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm talking crude over here. I'm talking crude stuff. This is for adults. Okay? And you parents, watch your children. This is for you. I've been married twice, so I could talk with experience. And I did it so many times. And I remember one of my first dates, not my first dates. I remember I met this girl, Italian girl in Staten Island, New York, in Stapleton. You know Stapleton is that? Okay. Right there on Broad Street, those projects. Remember? Okay. You keep going all the way up. It's Broad Street. It's right on Broad Street, goes all the way up, all the way to Mendoza. But the project's on the left side. I met this girl. She's tall, white girl, Italian. And she told me, well, Eugene, if you want to date me, if you want to go out with me, you're going to have to talk to my mother and my father. I said, what? I said, no problem. I don't care. So I went to the father. And I sat down, and the father said, "What do you want? What exactly do you? What you want from my daughter?" I went through the whole thing, like in Puerto Rico, almost the same thing. And then I think the father went to the mother, and then they became they agreed and said, "Okay, you can go out with Eugene." And it happened twice because we broke up, and then I had to go back to do the same thing all over again. So that's to show you, my friend, that there has to be a mutual respect. You can't just go and get laid, meet somebody for the first time, and the first thing you ask is sex. What is wrong with you? Honestly, what is wrong with you? Have some respect for that woman. Now, if that woman doesn't respect herself, that's a different story. Then you got a problem there. Because if she does it with you, she's going to do it with everybody else. You understand? I'm just talking facts over here. I'm not playing games. But I'm just saying that dating should be like that. That should come back and be established. And don't allow your daughter to sleep around, to meet this guy and that guy. There's supposed to be some kind of deep self-respect about yourself, that you're not going to let a man touch you until you get married. Keep your virgin until you get married. And you guys respect and have the decency to go and meet the father in person. And don't take that girl to some motel and some hotel like you think that you're gonna get away with it. You're gonna pay the consequences way down the line. Don't worry about it. All the way down the line somewhere, you're gonna be paying the consequences. And then they'll start crying and say, "Oh my God, your daughter's not good." No, you're not good. So be careful, people. Dating is a very serious thing, and marriage is a very serious thing. When you get married, you're going to have to stop the fooling around, the joking around, the jerking around. You're going to live with that woman, or woman, you're going to live with that man. So now you're going to have to change the whole structure of being friends with everybody. Now it's no more hanging out with your friends. Now it's hanging out with your husband or your wife. So if you're going to hang out with your wife and you and your husband, you're going to hang out. Now you're going to have to find new friends that are married, that are also in the same group, in the club, where you could share ideas about marriage. Now you cannot share no more ideas like when you were single. But you can still retain your single friends. But that hanging out thing is over. You cannot act single no more. Now you got a responsibility to answer questions to that woman, and woman, you got a responsibility to answer questions to that man. Become responsible to each other, mutual respect, and the whole 9 yards. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing theological over here, That's the way it is. So just date the right way, do the right thing, go to the father, go to the mother, whoever's alive or whatever, together, and do the right thing, and then marry her, take her to your house. Don't take her to a motel, take her to your house. You buy yourself a house. You rent a house or you rent an apartment, and then you go take her. First get married, then you take her to live with you and raise up a family together. And that's it. That's all. That's the duty of man, the Bible says. Just follow. God bless. Thank you very much for hearing me. God bless you.